their government stronger. Dear friends, the first thing is the power of stories and words. Politicians know they cannot just control people with rules, they need to control how people think. To do this, they tell powerful stories about the nation, they talk about a grand future, or they point to a common enemy to bring people together. The famous thinker Voltaire once said, "Those who can make you believe absurdities can make you commit atrocities." This means if a leader can make you believe a lie, he can make you do terrible things. By controlling the news and history, politicians believe people that without them the whole country will fall apart. The second thing is making things look fair and legal. No leader can run a country for long. To stay strong, politicians need helpers. They buy the loyalty of the military, the rich and top officials by giving them rewards. They share the country's money, big jobs, and land with their friends. Nicolas Machiavelli, a famous writer on power, stated that a leader must always focus on control and strength to survive. Politicians create a group of rich and powerful people who will protect the government, because if the government falls, those friends lose everything too. The third thing is making things look fair and legal. Force can take over a building, but it cannot run a country for long. To stay strong, politicians need people to believe that the government has right to rule. They use laws, courts, and voting to make their power look official. Even bad governments hold elections. Why? Because it makes the government look fair. Long ago, a Roman writer named Juvenal explained how leaders keep people quiet. Bread and circuses. This means if you give people cheap food and fun entertainment, they will stay happy, they will stop asking questions about their freedom. The fourth thing is using fear and problems. Nothing brings people together faster than fear. When a government feels weak, politicians often use a crisis like a war, a bad economy, or a disease to demand total obedience. When people are scared, they gladly give up their freedom in exchange for safety. A famous poet named Habib Jalib wrote a beautiful verse about how leaders think they are untouchable but eventually fall. तुमसे पहले जो एक शख्स यहाँ तख्त नशी था, उसको भी अपने खुदा होने पे इतना ही यकीन था. Which means that the man who sat on this throne before you was just as sure that he too was a god. Politicians use fear to make you think that without them the whole country will fall apart. Dear Excelsiors, the conclusion of my today's speech is politicians make their government strong by using stories, making things look legal, rewarding their friends, and using fear. But history shows us a clear lesson. A government built only on control will eventually break. Real strength doesn't come from forcing people to obey. It comes from treating people fairly. As the great poet Faiz Ahmad Faiz famously wrote about the ultimate end of cruel leaders, "Sab taaj uchhale jayenge, sab takht giraye jayenge," means all crowns will be tossed away, all thrones will be thrown down. Before leaving the podium and in ending my speech, I would like to share two sayings, one from a Palestinian freedom fighter, Ghassan. They stole the bread from us, then gave us a crumb of it, then they demand us to thank them for their generosity or their audacity. The second one by the American former Defense Ministry Secretary James Nauman. Be kind, be humble and professional, but always know the game to kill everyone in the room. Thank you for your prestigious time and mental attention.